the book is knowing the life of other people. And that's a kind of miracle that sometimes happens for every one of us. In this case, Apeirogon is a very most popular book in Italy also, but all over the world, who is telling a real story. So thank you very much to Colum McCann, the writer, to Bassam Aramin, and to Rami Elhanan, the two fathers who are in this real story. This incredible book is telling to us, and it's a particular story because it's a story of two fathers, one Israel and one from Palestine, who became friends. Also, better, they became brother. And so thank you very much to stay with us. And I'm starting with making a question to Rami Elhanan. So Rami, did you lose your daughter already 27 years ago? And is the pain leave you, or it remains with you?
Well, I'm sorry to say that this is one wound that never heals. You learn how to live with this pain. It's like living without your heart. The pain is there 24 hours a day, 60 seconds out of every minute. You don't forget. And you feel it all the time. I think it's the destiny of everyone losing a dear soul to him. It doesn't really matter if they are Arabs or Jewish or Italian. The pain is a pain.
But something happens for you, because living with this pain, you have one choice mainly, the revenge.
No, you have many choices. The automatic choice is when someone hits you in the face, the automatic response is to hit back. But as you think, we are not animals, we are human beings, we can use our heads. You ask yourself, will killing anyone will bring her back? Will causing pain to someone will ease this unbearable pain? And the answer is certainly not. So you start a process which translates this anger into something positive. And when you meet people like my brother Bassam, you understand that he shared the same kind of pain, that our tears are just as bitter, that our blood is red together. And we can work together to give us a reason to get out of bed in the morning. And we can turn the pain into hope.
And you, Bassam, when do you start for you the idea that people like Rami, also Jewish people, Hebrew people, Israeli people, can be friends and not enemies for you?
For the Palestinians, it's not a big honor to have an Israeli as a friend, because they occupied us. When I talk about Rami, only when you meet him personally, as a human being, not as an occupier. And I always said, if there is no Rami Elhanan in the Israeli side, you will never find Bassam Aramin in the Palestinian side. So I believe we know each other years before we met, until we met, to discover that we are the same, we share the same values, we are human beings, we want to live, of course, each one from his point of view, until we discover our common enemy. Why we fighting each other? Because there is an occupation. When we end this occupation, because we paid the highest price, our daughters killed because of this occupation. There is no occupation, we don't need to kill each other, we don't need to fight each other. So when we meet each other, we share the same values of life, of human beings. We decide to start working against our common enemy, so we can live in peace and justice and dignity in both sides.
Great, thank you. You both are part of a not government organization called Parents Circle, and it's interesting because you are in common your pain, but at the same time this pain generating something different. I mean, we will call the event here in the meeting a possible hope. So, Colum McCann, a question for you. How did you decide to write this book? How this book started? Because you are not involved directly in the Middle East. You are a great writer, traveling all over the world. Why did you choose this story?
Yeah, I'm not Israeli, I'm not Palestinian, I'm not Jewish, I'm not Muslim. I'm from Ireland, I live in New York. But I met these men in Beit Jala, just outside Jerusalem in 2015. And the minute I met them, I knew that their story was profound and necessary, and that somehow they were achieving the possible within the supposedly impossible. And that was interesting to me, to find the word possible within the impossible. And I thought at first, I can't write this story. This is not my story. But then I realized it is everybody's story. And while it is improbable to some people that we would have a Palestinian and an Israeli together, I think there's a lot of improbable people around the world. We don't get to tell their stories. But once they get a chance to tell their story, we realize that they meet other stories and meet other stories, and the world comes together. And for me, it was a beacon of hope to meet them, to become their other brother, and to bring their message forward. Their message is very simple and profound, I think. You know, we don't have to love each other. We don't even have to like each other, though we hope we can. But we must understand each other. Because if we don't understand each other, we're in big trouble.
Great. Your book is called Apeirogon. That means a geometric figure, a geometric object. So, to mean that the situation is so complicated, so difficult that apparently there is no solution. So I'm asking to you, and then also to Bassam and to Rami, today we are living a terrible moments after 7 of October, and in all these months, in these days, we hope a possible agreement on a stop of this war, this invasion of Gaza from the Israeli army. But the question is, in your opinion, which is the possibility of get out of this complicated situation?
I mean, it must end. It will end. It has to end. Every war eventually ends. The question is, how soon does it end? Who helps us to end it? And how many people do we lose before we end it? And it takes people of real courage, people of real, commitment in order to, change the world. So it takes people of courage, like these two guys, to stand up and say, enough, and let's look at each other. Let's try to understand each other, and from there we will find a peace. Peace comes either dropping slowly or it begins building from underneath, but it must happen.
Must happen. And for you, Bassam, in your opinion, which is the hope?
You know, when I look back to the history, we are not the first or the last conflict, unfortunately, on earth. It's not written anywhere that we are going to continue killing each other forever. One day it will end, and I get this hope, especially from the Holocaust. You know, I have a master's degree about the Holocaust. I know that the Palestinians didn't kill 6 million Israelis. The Israelis didn't kill 6 million Palestinians.
Yet.
Until now. But there is a German ambassador in Tel Aviv, and there is an Israeli ambassador in Berlin. 4 years after 6 million victims. It means we can do it. We only need a brave leader to lead us towards the future and release us from the victimhood mentality, from the past.
Well, you agree, Rami?
I cannot agree more. I see the world today after the Second World War. I see Ireland after 800 years of bloody conflict. I see, I look around the world and history moves all the time towards another future. And I don't think that we are going to kill each other. There will come a moment when the price of not having peace will exceed the price of peace. And then the two sides will crawl back to the negotiating table to start again where they left off in the year 2000 in Camp David. Because the agreement lies on the table and everybody knows exactly what should be done in order to finish this stupid conflict in an hour. Unfortunately, today the conflict is a war to keep Mr. Netanyahu alive. And this is the basic of all basics. But we need to grow up. We need to look back. We need to look at our dead victims. And we need to do anything we can possibly do in order to understand that the Israelis will stay, the Palestinians will stay, no one will throw the other to the sea. We need to go on together and understand one basic thing, which is the essential of everything. From the river to the sea, everyone should be free. Everyone should feel normal. Everyone should feel safe. Everyone should feel security. And we as people who paid the highest price possible, we have the moral authority to tell the rest of the world, we need to stop it immediately. Now, you cannot go stand aside and let those villains go on fighting each other like two gangs of mafia dons.
So, thank you very much, gentlemen. I'm closing this splendid interview, this moment, saying that there are at least two people in this Middle East situation who are saying and thinking and making the things that every one of us would see in every Palestinian, in every Israeli citizen. So thank you very much, because the hope that your testimony is this. I mean, there are at least two people who are human beings, and
No, you're also a human being.
no, in this situation, in which you are defending, you know, the humanity genre, the human genre. And there is a great writer in Italy, Primo Levi, who wrote a great book on Auschwitz. And the central chapter of this book is dedicated to Dante's Ulisse episode, in which the key word is fatti non foste per viver come bruti, ma per seguir virtute e conoscenza. That means the human has to prevail, and you are making prevailing the human.
Thank you so much.
you.
Thank you very much.